Today we're going over the Aided Dagr and 3 Houses new heroes banner for Fire Emblem Heroes. It's been a while since the last 3 Houses batch, but we have a couple students finally getting proper regular versions. Dorothea and Ashe are done dressing up. Meanwhile, Rearmed Marianne dons a dark flower outfit to go with her dubious arcane red tone. To cap off the banner, Aided Dagr is here from the Tempest Trials. We'll talk about everyone's stats and skills and discuss some general playstyle and build ideas. Before we begin with the banner, we have an instant Demote joining the 3 to 4 star pool immediately. Caspar will also be back for school, but we aren't getting any free copies of him. If you want Caspar, you're just gonna have to get lucky. Because intelligent systems are afraid of adding brawling, Caspar with an Axe inventory Demote. We're never short on Axe fighter free-to-play options, but it's been 9 heroic rare units in a row. The last Axe inventory Demote was female Shez, so it's been quite a while. For stats, Caspar has been working out during summer vacation, 46 HP, 48 attack, 44 speed, 32 defense, and 28 res, much faster than his first ult, and will have attack and speed super boons. Caspar is pretty much on par with Valentine's Effie if you're looking for a high attack axe fighter with great speed. It may take a while to plus 10 him though. For old skills, Caspar brings Moonbow and Brash Assault 3. Thankfully, he also has Speed and Defense Finish 3. We just got this stat variation with Attuned Tamara, so if you get Caspar, that can make inheriting her skills a lot more optimal. Finish 3s are really great stat boosters for budget builds. Sadly, Caspar does not bring a new inheritable axe. In fact, it's quite old. Upfront Axe Plus has 14 might. If the foe is above 75% HP, grant plus 5 attack and speed and neutralize attack and speed debuffs during combat. Upfront Axe is the same weapon as Spring Soleil's Springy Axe Plus. This is a decent weapon, but it's a 3+ year old effect. If you want no follow-up, Valentine's Effie's inheritable axe has that instead of the penalty neutralization. Upfront can be better if you outsource no follow-up though. Caspar has quite a lot of options as a faster infantry unit. He has excellent attack, and you can pair this with No Quarter for hard-hitting DR piercing specials. To charge it up, you can use Time's Pulse, Pledge, or Heavy Slash Flashing Blade. Flash Spare also works since Caspar is decently fast. For other DR piercing methods, Caspar can utilize Tier 4 No Follow-Up or Tempo skills for half DR piercing. Special Spiral 4 or Legue's Friend can replace No Quarter with any special choice. To add some defense to Caspar's offensive stats, you can use Legue's Friend with Godlike Reflexes. Ideally, you would want Sling, so Arcane Dreamer would work best here. Caspar can also use Gust, and while it's been fading in popularity, regular percent DR from Dodge or Potent still work fine if the field doesn't have any kind of DR piercing. Do keep in mind, Caspar doesn't have super high defense or res at base. While Breath of Life 4 or Acts of Devotion are really cool skills, these work better if you have higher defense than the foe. Caspar isn't like Summer to Do or Vague, he's more like Panette as a Berserker type unit. He does have decently high base HP. You could use this for things like Infantry Pulse instead of Times Pulse, and we can stack HP with Boost 4 or Squad A Seals. Now another way to use Caspar is with Brave attacks. If you miss Brawling, Caspar has a couple Ninja Brave axes to use and is fast enough to have quad potential. With Physical No Follow-Up, he can have 50% DR piercing on every hit, and you can get cooldown from Flash Sparrow or Flashing Blade. Endless Tempest can grant 3 movement and give stat advantages, but a build like this basically has no defensive perks. You may want to run Gust and Attack and Speed Excel for some kind of protection. Brave Bernie can also just provide Desperation to allow instant quad attacks if not stopped. To wrap things up, Caspar can of course use various distant counter skills, and he'll work with many attuned skills that can also Disrupt, Attack Oath, or Guard Echo. It will require cooldown and extra mobility, but Momentum is a potentially strong option for burst damage, instant No Quarter, or even possible AoE specials. Definitely viable if you want to use Silica or Sigurd's Rings. All in all, Caspar is a fine offensive Axe infantry Demote. Caspar's main issue is just going to be getting him in the first place. He's not exactly like better stat-wise than Valentine's FV at max investment, and Panette has her own Berserker niches, so there's quite some competition. I wish you the best of luck if you're going to go for that plus 10 project. Onto the actual banning units. Dorothea is the 4-star focus unit. You can get her at 4 or 5-star rarity, and she's going to join the 3 to 4-star pool after the banner is over. After 3 seasonal ults, I cannot believe they're making Dorothea the Demote. I have to assume it's partly because they didn't want to give up her dancer typing, and they didn't want to give her a unique dance, so here we are. Regular Dorothea will be a blue infantry mage. For stats, she has 40 HP, 40 attack, 36 speed, 17 defense, and 45 res. Dorothea has a res super boom, and that is obviously her main trait to focus on for this ult. She will actually be one of the highest res dancers in the game. For old skills, Dorothea has Sing to refresh allies, Speed Cantrip 3 inflicts -7 speed on foes within 4 spaces after dancing an ally. For a spicy new skill in the Demote pool, Dorothea brings infantry no follow 3. Every turn, give nearby infantry the no follow up status. Nice support option because many fast units do not bring no follow up in their kits, and the tier 4 is quite solid. Dorothea can open up some nice skill inheritance chains as well. Now, Dorothea brings a new old inheritable tome, the Blue Vulture Plus tome. 12 might if unit is solo, inflict -5 attack and res on the foe, and double up on any attack and res debuffs inflicted on the foe. Standalone, this isn't a bad effect because you can stack a decent amount of debuffs. It's essentially foe penalty doubler for attack and res. However, the pledging effect is almost 4 years out, so yeah. If you can be solo, not a bad inheritable, but also not exactly an exciting new blue tome to chase. If you're not expecting much fighting from Dorothea, you can skip the Vulture Tome for a more supportive weapon. The Love Bouquet Plus is a joint drive attack and res tome from Bride of Juno. If you have some unused Divine Codes Part 3, she only costs 400 codes. From Dancer Renea, you can get the Silver Goblet, which is a Distant Card 2 tome. Not amazing, but you can stack that with other drives and spurs. If you want to switch houses, the Blue Lion Tome grants +6 attack field buffs to adjacent allies. This is from Demote Marianne. From her base kit, speed cantrip's okay, but the 1 tier 4 cantrip would be a bit stronger since it adds sabotage. Infantry no follow 3 is good for infantry teams. If you get the tier 4, Dorothea herself would get warping, which is really good to move around. Plus she gets no follow up herself. Sadly, Dorothea isn't that fast without full speed investment, so no follow up isn't as important. For this reason, Arcane Thunder may lose some value, whereas Arcane Euphoria's free follow-up attack may be more enticing if you did want a stronger combative weapon. Rearmed Marianne also just has a great kit for Dorothea anyway. Stillwater 4 for flat res to proc Demon to res ploy 3, and then Wings of Mercy 4 to help allies when needed. There is a new Discord B skill on this banner Dorothea can use. It requires a flat res check and gives some debuffs with res scaling true damage. This is a new option to run for more debuff coverage. For other skills, tier 4 waves offer the 2 range field buffs, and you can run any drives or spur type skills. Attuned Peony has Rock Slide Dance 3, which can stack with her cross spur speed. She also has Attack Echo for warping. From Attuned Azure, you can get Mercy Wing Echo, cross spur attack, and the Oni tier for cantrip. And as a mage, Dorothea can also use some of the more weirder skills like Infantry Hexblade to give adaptive damage to adjacent allies. There's also Infantry Rush for Flashing Blade. If you do want Dorothea to deal damage, she can utilize the various infantry cooldown skills like Times Pulse or maybe Infantry Pulse with some HP stacking. You can run Lagu's Friend or Resonance for DR Piercing, but obviously keep expectations in check. Overall, Dorothea does have a niche as one of the higher res dancers in the game. We have a couple res based support skills she can use from the backlines safely. In terms of unique dances or support weapons though, it's just tough to beat any of the fairy dancers. More dancers are never bad to have though. I think this Dorothea will be the only 3 houses dancer that's not 5 stars. You can use her for those limited battles. Our only new permanent 5-star for the banner will be Ashe. Because they can't stop making sword units, Ashe will be a green bow cavalier. The watch for the red bow cav continues. For stats, Ashe has 39 HP, 44 attack, 47 speed, 27 defense, and 28 res. Speed and defense super boons, very nice offensive spread. For old skills, Ashe will bring the newish Curve Shot from Brave Burning. As a reminder, 2 cooldown Archer Oni special that is essentially Moonbow, but if the foe is super fast, it will instead scale off the foe's speed stat. If specials are ready or have triggered and the unit can make an attack, you get 40% unpierceable DR for the next attack. This will work for the new Twin Save skills if you want to use it for an Armored Archer. For other fodder, Ashe brings Flared Sparrow and he has odds be wave 4 for no follow-up access. For his weapon, Ashe just has a bow. This weapon has 14 might, and for allies within 3 rows or 3 columns, Ashe will give them +4 attack and speed in combat, and if those allies initiate combat and the foe has an offensive special, then inflict +1 cooldown on the foe before their first attack. Basically, Ashe provides scout support. For his own combat, Ashe has exerted specials. If he initiates or has an ally within 3 rows or 3 columns, Ashe gets bonus stats equal to 5 plus 15% of his at start of combat speed stat. He will get +7 true damage on hits, no guard, and then full DR piercing specials. When initiating only, Ashe will get -1 cooldown before his first attack, and just like his support perk, Ashe also inflicts scowl on the foe. Scowl continues to spread out from non-dragons. Ashe can provide very nice long-range scowl to help allies initiate safely. Ashe himself also gets scowl, and he can even get instant cooldown on top of slaying. This means Ashe will be spamming DR piercing curve shot specials all day. No guard helps recharge, and then Ashe gets some nice stats with a little extra true damage. For his new inheritable B skill, Ashe brings Seal Speed and Defense 3, inflict -3 speed and defense on the foe, inflict additional speed and defense debuffs equal to 6, minus the current penalty on each of those stats. If the foe has a speed and defense debuff, inflict guard on the foe, and then inflict -6 speed and defense after combat. The tier 4 dual seal skills are a little confusing, but basically they always try to inflict -9 speed and defense in this case. If the foe has a field debuff, you inflict less in combat debuffs, but you get a bonus guard effect. Now if the foe neutralizes those speed and defense debuffs, you will not get guard. However, this skill still inflicts -9 speed and defense in combat. It tries to be a consistent source of stat penalties, although try to pair it with actual debuffs if you can. For general playstyle, Ashe provides the still somewhat rare long-range scout support. It's player phase only though, so Ashe isn't replacing Veil. For his own comment, Ashe basically has Brave Tiki setup. With his slang effect, curve shots on 1 cooldown. When initiating, Ashe gets -1 instant cooldown, so curve shot procs immediately, and it has full DR piercing. If the foe counters back, Ashe will scout through special, and he has curve shots 40% damage reduction. No guard recharges curve shot if Ashe gets hit, guaranteed. With Oddspeed Wave 4, if Ashe outspeeds, he's going to double, and that's going to be a second curve shot proc. The Wave +6 field buff also stacks with Just Bill's +4 speed for a decent amount of support. Seal Speed and Defense will help Ashe double and deal more damage, but technically it does lower curve shot's damage. It's fine to keep, but you could replace it with, say, Assassin Strike, Breast Assault 4, or Speed and Defense Fire Trace 4, which just released with Fogado. Kanto would be nice to retreat behind Flared Sparrow's flame tiles. You can use Fartre's Echo as well, but Ashe can also make use of Fleeting Echo or Guard for extra defense. Since Ashe is primarily an initiator himself, Flared or Remote Sparrow are probably his go-to A skills. You could do Catch for Mixed Phase, technically Curve Shot can proc there. Oddspeed Wave is tough to replace since that's Ashe's no follow-up source. If you don't need it, you could do Insight for more stats or a counter-type skill such as Fatal Smoke or Feud. For seals, Catch, Solo, or Blade Session are fine for stats, Squad Ace's extra HP doesn't hurt, and Hardy Bearing can help against tricky units. Overall, Ashe has some nice offensive power, plus can utilize Curve Shot and Scout for taking counterattacks. He has his own cooldown perks and DR piercing specials. You then have Scout support for fellow initiators, which I think is very neat. Just another tool against special reliant skills such as Lagoo's Friend. Our third banner unit is Rearmed Marianne and her interesting weapon. Despite having the Blood Gang Hero's Relic, Marianne will be a red flying mage. This Marianne seems to use her base game timeskip hairstyle and then a more personalized version of the Dark Flyer outfit. Now, for stats, Marianne has 37 HP, 46 attack, 40 speed, 16 defense, and 45 res, workable speed, good attack and res with a res super boom, and awful physical bulk. Stay away from those archers. For oath skills, Marianne comes with Crystalline Water. She's the second unit to have it. She then has Speed and Res Crooks for long range debuffs and that follow-up support. Marianne's Arcane Blood Gang is a 14-mite tome and has the usual accelerated specials. At start of combat, if above 25% HP, grant bonus stats equal to 25% of the foe's attack at start of combat, -4. If the foe has 72 flat attack, you can get a max +14 to all stats. In addition, deal true damage equal to 15% of the user's attack stat, and this works for area effect specials. You then get 7 flat damage reduction for first attacks with an S, no guard, and -1 instant cooldown before the unit's first attack. Blood Gang is a magical damage sword, but it doesn't even have 2 range in 3 houses, so let's not even get into why it's a red tome in Fae. This will be the second Arcane red tome, but similar to Arcane Eclipse, this is also a cooldown focused weapon. Instead of the single use -1 cooldown each battle, Blood Gang can grant -1 cooldown before attacking every fight. Eclipse may be better to help pre-charge an AoE initially, but in battle, Blood Gang does seem like a stronger consistent option. For slower mages, this could be a decent tome for stuff like Flare or Lagoo's Friend / Times Pulse. The flat DR can help with tanking. For initiators, you can immediately proc a 2 cooldown special, and if you double while getting hit, then you can get a second special on the follow. The main issue at the moment is that there's no DR piercing special for mages. Infantry have options for that, but for cows and flyers, you're going to need to use Resonance for partial DR pierce. Marianne gets around this problem with her unique Requiem Prayer. Brave Marianne had some wonky issues with her dance-related special, but this time things are much different. Requiem Prayer is a 2 cooldown special that deals 40% res as damage and has full DR piercing. Marianne then has 3 other effects. If she has higher res than the foe, Marianne gets % damage reduction against all attacks and even AoE specials. It works similarly to Dragon Wall, but there's an extra step that checks the cooldown value of Requiem Prayer at the moment. If it's on 1 cooldown, Marianne can get a max 30% damage reduction if she has 10 or more res than the foe. If it's charged, then Marianne can get up to 40% DR. Now, if Marianne triggers this special, then after combat she gets Kanto 2. When Kanto triggers, Marianne can use Dance during the Kanto action. This is basically just like the new Shadow Shift, but instead of reposition, Marianne can Shadow Dance an ally. This works once per turn, but doesn't count it as an assist or dancer ability, and it works with any Kanto effect. It may be worth giving Marianne something like Far Trace Kanto because Marianne can reposition, then dance without having to fight. Keep in mind, Kanto control ends turn for range units when they use Kanto, so that does hard counter this dance ability. Still, combat-wise, this special actually does something for Marianne, unlike her Brave Ult special. It deals actual bonus damage and gives full DR piercing, plus you get % DR to use with Blood Gains flat DR. I wouldn't say Marianne's going to be a huge tank, but she's better off than most other mages when it comes to taking hits. Probably try to continue to avoid archers though. Marianne's new inheritable B skill is Speed and Res Discord. This is a new Sabotage type skill, and it upgrades from Sabotage Speed 3 or Sabotage Res 3. It only works for infantry and flyers though. At the start of either phase, inflict -6 speed and res and the Discord status onto foes with less res than the user, and that are within 2 spaces of another foe. In combat, inflict speed and res debuffs equal to 4 plus the number of foes within 2 spaces that have Discord active on them times 2. This includes the main target. If there are 3 foes with Discord nearby, then you can inflict an extra -10 speed and res on the foe. Last, unit deals true damage on hit equal to 15% of their res stat. This new Discord skill line has 2 conditions, but unlike our typical Sabotage skills, it procs on player or enemy phase, and it only needs foes within 2 spaces rather than needing to be adjacent. As a refresher, Discord inflicts stat debuffs based on how many nearby enemies are within 2 spaces. So for the in-combat div part of this skill, if the main target has Discord and there's 2 discorded foes in range, you're actually going to inflict -14 speed and res total. You then have the actual -6 speed and res field debuffs, and you have true damage scaling off hopefully high res. Definitely don't underestimate this skill if you try to tank in formation. For general playstyle, Marianne utilizes Arcane Bloodgang to immediately proc Requiem Prayer. With Slang and No Guard, if Marianne is hit back, she recharges her special and can proc it again on her follow-up. The tank hits, Requiem Prayer has unpierceable % DR. Marianne needs to have 10 or more res to get up to 30% or 40% DR, and she gets 7 flat DR via Bloodgang after. To get a double, Marianne has Speed and Res Crux for a free follow-up, but she's getting a good amount of speed debuffs via Bloodgang and Speed and Res Discord. The new Discord B skill has a 50% res scaling true damage effect, and that was stacked with Bloodgang's 15% attack scaling true damage. After all of this, Marianne gets Kanto 2, and can Shadow Dance an ally during the Kanto action. Refreshing, debuffing, decent offensive power, and having fly mobility gives Rearmed Marianne a pretty nice niche. For other skills, I think it would be interesting to have Kanto effects to allow Marianne to dance without getting into a fight. Besides Emblem Sigurd's Ring, you can use Far Trace 4 or Echo, and there could be potential for Escape Route 4 or Link 4. To open up opportunities to attack or dance, fly mobility skills are good. Secret skills like Flyer Formation or Aerobatics are nice, but obviously the tier 4 stuff like Guidance 4 or Air Orders 4 get a bit spicier. You could even use something like Mercy Wing Echo or go for Soaring Echo. For combat, Squad Ace can help stack flat res for checks and HP for tanking. Remote Ace skills or Fleeting Echo can add more % DR, and Guard can maybe prevent an enemy special. While speed debuffs are nice, I do think attack debuff variants of these skills could be just as annoying, something to watch out for in the future. Overall, a nice update on what Brave Marianne tried to do. Requiem Prayer seems a lot easier to use, and it works with Arcane Bloodgang very well. The dance variation on Shadow Shift is interesting. I'm curious if this is just a mechanic that's just going to be a lot more prevalent moving forward. Our last unit for today is Aided Dagr. I am disappointed her aid isn't the same huge Super Saiyan bird on her back. However, it's so tiny that it's going to loop back around to being hilarious, at least for me. Now, we did learn the bird is housing the spirit of Dorothea, who was the first Jotun. With her new power, Aided Dagr is going to be a sword infantry unit, and then for stats, she has 41 HP, 46 attack, 48 speed, 38 defense, and 31 res. She has a speed super boom, and to no surprise, just very solid all-around stats for a speedy sword master. For all skills, Dagr has attack and speed excel and firm Kanto curb. Dagr wants to control mobility for both her team and the enemy. Vedalfanir's Edge is a 16-might weapon. Every turn, if there's an ally within 3 rows or 3 columns, then Dagr and those allies get +6 attack and speed field boss and a no follow-up status for 1 turn. For combat, Dagr has exerted specials. If she initiates or has an ally within 3 rows or 3 columns, then Dagr gets bonus stats equal to 5 plus the number of allies within that range times 3. If you have 3 allies in range, you get a max plus 14 to all stats. In addition, Dagr can neutralize any stat penalties on herself. She has no guard, and she deals true damage on hit equal to X. Dagr has flat DR for first attacks equal to 50% of X, and then if the foe triggers a damage special, then Dagr tacks on another 50% of X as flat DR. This X value is the highest total field boss among Dagr or allies within 3 rows or 3 columns. This sword gives Dagr consistent stats and special cooldown charging. No follow-up is really good to have for speedy units, and attack and speed field buffs are always appreciated. To unlock her full potential, Dagr wants full field buffing. With full +6 buffs, that's going to be 24 true damage per hit, and then 12 flat DR. If the foe neutralizes her field boss, Dagr can borrow from her allies, and this range extends across the map. Very easy to use weapon. For her unique B skill, this is where Dagr gets Pathfinder. Every turn, if Dagr has a support partner, she's going to give them the Pathfinder status. If no partner is on the team, Dagr will instead give Pathfinder to the highest defense ally. For combat, if above 25% HP, Dagr inflicts attack, speed, and defense debuffs equal to 5 plus the current bonus on each of those stats, times 2. In addition, Dagr has 50% DR piercing for all attacks, and heals 7 HP after combat. For the Pathfinder sharing, you cannot stack multiple copies of the same support partner or multiple highest defense allies. If you do that, no one gets Pathfinder. There's going to be no conga lines like you can do with Duo with Dagr. Regardless, Pathfinder allows allies to move through the unit's space for free, so it's a disgusting tool in a game where mobility is very strong. The more Pathfinder allies on the team, the crazier the mobility shenanigans get. For Dagr's combat, she will actually get stronger if the foe has field boss on them. You then have 50% DR piercing and some sustained healing, always good stuff. Last new inheritable skill for today is Reposition Gate. It's finally happening. After 7+ years, the best skill in the game is being power crept, but you can only upgrade to this 400 SP reposition if you're an infantry or armor unit. The only change is that after using reposition, the user gets Conto 1 to move after. Normally, this will let a unit move left, right, or forward. However, since Dagr can give Pathfinder to one ally, if she repositions them, Dagr can now leap across the Pathfinder ally. I'm not sure if Reposition Gate is going to completely shake things up, but at least for Arena, it's very possible high scoring units can now set up the infinite reposition loops thanks to the AI, always moving them backwards. This can lead to very annoying scenarios if you do not have strong player phase initiators. With that being said, this also lets the player use Reposition without sacrificing score, and boy can that be powerful. They honestly could have made Reposition Plus just a 400 SP assist with no other changes, and people would still use it. Arena scoring is just a dumb arbitrary metric in the first place. For general playstyle, Aided Dagr is another powerful Pathfinder sharing unit. More Pathfinder allies means more movement opportunities, and what a surprise that we got a 5 movement unit to abuse that. Sigurd and his ring will pair very well with Dagr shenanigans. Now Dagr will provide long range attack, speed, and a follow-up support. She's great for a speedy team. If possible, Dagr wants full field buffs though. She gets more true damage and flat DR based on field buffing. With her weapon and Excel, we have 2 flat DR sources. If you want to be like Brave Felix, Gus can be an unpierceable % DR source, although Dagr can't charge it in one action without some help. Emblem Marth or Times Pulse can fix that. For other combative perks, Dagr has 50% DR piercing, neutralizes stat debuffs, and will get stronger against enemy field buffs. If you're going to go for that full field buffing, a bonus double seal will be fine for maximum bonus stats. A neat C skill for Dagr will be Endless Tempest for 3 permanent movement. Great for Pathfinder, but it does neutralize enemy field buffs, which technically clashes with her B skill. However, I would say it's an okay trade-off. Firm Conto Curb is great as a movement deterrent in this kit, but you can also run a self-buffing option like Defense from his Oath or Pledge. Dagr can use the cooldown or warping. Times Pulse works in this slot and can also be used for Gust, Godlike Reflexes, or even Vital Astra. In the A slot, Distant Bonus Double can be fun, Finish 4 is great as usual, but Excel does add to Dagr's survivability. She isn't the craziest damage dealer, but not dying means Dagr sets up Pathfinder madness. That's generally her main goal on team. Aided Dagr is a solid unit for sure. She provides support and isn't going down super easy, especially if you add a %DR special. Pathfinder empowers high movement abilities, so it's no coincidence Dagr's releasing right after Sigurd. that'll be it for this banner. Let me know what you think of our new units, and good luck if you plan to summon for them, especially Caspar. Coming up next, we have a Grand Hero battle for Meta Day. We don't get a ton of free-to-play Dagger units, so if you're in the market for a build project, then Meta Day can provide his services. We'll talk about what he can do next time. Thank you for watching, best of luck with the summons, and I will see you in the next video.